Hello there everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Danganronpa If, the side story. Let's go with that. We're awakening our masters in the form of Genocide Jack. I'm sure this will go well. Nani? It seems so random and out of place. Why would Mukuro mention the name of a notorious serial killer right now? Wait, so then who's the narrator? Is the narrator limited omniscient? Okay. The students look... Oh, well, okay, I guess it's what the students are thinking. Okay. The students looked at each other with confusion when suddenly... Toko, who had been groaning in pain, suddenly kicked off of the floor of the gym with renewed vigor. She leapt into the air much higher than any normal human should have been able to. While hovering several meters in midair, Toko twirled faster than a professional figure skater. This caused her skirt to flutter, revealing multiple pairs of sparkling scissors. Countless tally marks were scratched into her legs, like a kill count carved into a fighter jet. If not for this situation, Toko's glamorous, I was going to say glorious and glamorous, and it almost turned into glormurous, which is a word I'm trademarking. Jumps and spins would have been a sight to behold. The girl formerly known as Toko Fukawa cackled wildly, her red eyes sparkling as her absurdly long tongue flopped out of her mouth. Okay, that was always a bit weird. She just happens to have a ridiculously long tongue? Okay, you know what? Some girls have that. You called for me and so I appear. I've got a murder I owe you for YOU. Kya ha 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 ha. Toko? The situation changed so drastically that even Sayaka, who was silent up till now, spoke up. Hey, you flash in the pan! Don't treat Genocide Jack like that depressing little Four Eyes! That dirty girl doesn't bathe herself at all, that's really gross. So I gotta put in 5 times the effort to rub myself down in the shower. Eek! Toko's sudden change in personality sent the students clamoring among themselves. Hey! Leon yelled. What the hell does that mean? Monokuma just shook his head. There are some things even I don't understand. The students continued to panic at the strange turn of events. Toko, now calling herself Genocide Jack, took out a set of scissors from under her skirt and snipped with glee as she looked around the gym. Huh? Man, it's been a while. Oh, wait, shoot. It's been a while since I got to stretch my legs. So what are you guys gonna do at the gym while I was snoozing away? Have an orgy, okay. I understand. I totally understand. You guys need me to cut up your clothes so you can feel even naughtier. Yeah, right. Why the hell would I even do that for you dumbass? What? My scissors are only meant for cutting the supple, tender flesh of adorable boys. Genocide Jack was causing a ruckus, but when she saw Mukuro lying on the floor, she tilted her head once again. Huh? Big Mac? What? Oh, because it's like Mukuro. Okay. You're like totally about to die. What's the deal? Did the world fill you with so much despair that you came all the way here to commit mass suicide? That's so hot. But why are you starting without me? Toko? Cried Aoi. Get a hold of yourself. Genocide Jack ignored Aoi. That's how you pronounce it, right? Why am I suddenly stumbling on that? Aoi Asahina, yeah. And let her motions run unchecked, jumping and dancing with excitement as she held her scissors. Ah, jeez, I want to stab Big Mac's side myself. This spot right here, where the ribs are kind of already showing. That's gross. He's not even screaming right now, though. What does that mean? Oh, well, maybe I can just get used to the feeling of alienation instead. Ha ha. Wow, she is off the deep end. I have no idea what's going on anymore, shouted Yasuhiro. This is all the aliens' fault. Yasuhiro buried his head into his arms, but no one was paying attention to him, as they should. The students' attention was entirely focused on Genocide Jack. Using that to her advantage, Mukuro began sneaking over to Makoto. As she cautiously picked him up, she confirmed that his body temperature was starting to decrease. I can still make it there in time. Though she was carrying another person, Mukuro managed to soften the sound of her footsteps as she ran for the gym doors. By the time the students heard Mukuro open... Mukuro? I said Mukuro, like the Pokemon. Mukuro opened the door. It was already too late. She had managed to escape the gym with Makoto. However, not everyone was aware of what Mukuro was doing. Monokuma saw her movements out of the corner of his eye, but chose not to tell the students. and one other person, Kyoko Kirigiri. She saw Mukuro carry Makoto away, but did not inform the others as she watched them leave in silence. As everyone wrestled with their own personal thoughts and speculations, Host Peak Academy began walking a path toward a completely different chaos. Japanese text. With Makoto on her back, Mukuro took several trophies from the gym entrance hall. Why? And after passing through the door leading to the hallway, she jammed the okay, that makes sense. Trophies through the door handles, though Sakura could easily destroy these makeshift locks. They should buy Mukuro a few extra seconds. Then Mukuro started running to the nurse's office, the place she last spoke to Makoto. Everything necessary for performing first aid could be found there. Her little sister was the enemy. Her fellow ultimate students were her enemy. Her only ally right now was Makoto, who was on the verge of death. Mukuro knew that even she wasn't her own ally right now. Amidst all this chaos, amidst her sister's betrayal and nearly being killed, she believed. She believed she was the only one who truly understood her little sister. Well, I mean, there's people on internet forums who would probably argue that. As in, they probably agree with her, because people online just love to play devil's advocate for everything. That's why she felt like she had to protect her. That's right. You didn't do anything wrong, Junko. No. The phrase Junko did nothing wrong is very wrong. You just want to feel despair, that's all, right? That is technically being wrong, because you love me. That's why you wanted to kill me. You were just trying to feel despair, right? Girl, what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I failed to bring you despair. But at the same time, she wondered if, hey, that's the name of the story, if she saves Makoto and betrays her sister by disrupting her plan, wouldn't that fill her with an even stronger desire? Wouldn't that make her happy? But betray Junko. What should I do? Mukuro closed her eyes and listened to Makoto's weak breaths. What should I do, Makoto? On a battlefield where all you need to do is kill and survive, Mukuro was invincible. She could suppress all her emotions and fully immerse herself in becoming a perfect killing machine. But on this twisted battlefield of daily high school life... Okay, high school was the real battlefield after all. She could no longer keep her emotions in check, especially around her little sister. Mukuro, the ultimate soldier, was beginning to question being ultimate despair. The impulse of the normal high school girl inside her, the impulses, plural, were starting to affect her state of mind. Even so, the poor girl continued to run through the dark hallways, clinging to this conflict within herself. She was now walking along a narrow, hair-thin path to despair? No, a path between the hope of Makoto Naegi and the despair of Junko Enoshima. Japanese text. Meanwhile, everyone still in the gym was left in a state of complete confusion. Toko was famous for being a prolific author, but even though she came across as unsociable and depressing, her mind-blowing transformation seems to have just tossed all that aside. Toko is Genocide Jack? Sayaka trembled with fear as Jack tilted her head and stuck out her long tongue. Huh? What's the deception, you guys? You guys didn't know who I was? Have I been found out? Or have you known all along? And why was the sullen samurai just like that? That outfit didn't look good on her at all. The sullen samurai was probably referring to Mukuro, which means Toko already knew Mukuro in advance. Confronted by the shocking truth, the students had no idea where to begin talking. So many things were clearly wrong by this point. But there were a few students, such as Byakuya and Kyoko, who opted to remain calm and observe the situation. Alright, someone better spill it. Who gave Makoto an extra mouth to feed? Wait, what? Wait, an extra mouth to feed. Okay, is that referring to the hole in him? That's a weird okay. Is that a normal? Okay. I don't care if you want to stab him or slice him. I just can't forgive who put that ugly-ass hole in Big Mac's side. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's the hole. Toko, no, Genocide Jack, spun her scissors in her hands. As she spoke, her emotions and facial expressions constantly changed. Even without the threat of her scissors, she exuded an aura of danger that made her unapproachable. That flank steak Flank steak? The flank steak of a young boy like macarons is like a bluebird. What the? What are you talking about? The flank steak of a young boy like macaroons, is that like Mukuro? Okay, is like a bluebird that pops out of a golden egg. If you want to... Tittle and mint. I hate this. What? Okay, if you would have just let me handle it, I would have killed so good that even Tittle and Middle would be eager to die. Who are Tittle and Middle? Okay, but even poor Makutie's heart and soul have been stomped on by such a sloppy kill. That actually sounds pretty exciting too. But I decline. Toko, you're not making any sense, screamed Aoi. Yes, exactly. What in the world happened to you? Genocide Jack answered by pointing her scissors at Aoi. What happened to me? I got bored, that's what. That sourpuss locked me up a few days ago, but when she went unconscious, I thought I'd finally get to do my thing. But I woke up for all this. Makutie's soaked with blood, and I've got no clue what's going on. It's so damn confusing, all I can do is laugh. Kya-ha-ha-ha-ha. No one seemed to be able to get a straight answer out of Jack, so Hifumi made a timid remark. I've dealt with girls like this in my 2D dating games, but this doesn't even compare. It's like there's a triple S difficulty level to clear her. Can't believe you'd even think about her as someone worth clearing, mumbled Leon. It's clear that things are going nowhere. As if she was responsible to everyone, as if she were responding to everyone else's expectations, Sakura stepped forward. She might be in the throes of confusion. I should try to restrain her for now. As soon as she heard that, Genocide Jack stopped moving, stuck out her lizard-like tongue, and grinned wickedly. Ho, what's up? Are you really gonna fight me, Battle Ogre? That's an awesome title. Too bad, my lovely scissors are only for cutting through adorable boys. Women should just stay home. I won't taint my scissors with your filthy blood. Replied Sakura. It seems my words are useless on you. Sakura entered a fighter's stance, determined to restrain Jack. But Jack knew she wouldn't win in a fair fight, and adopted a strange stance of her own. In a normal fight, Jack would obviously lose to the ogre, but if Jack focused just on dodging attacks, the outcome of the fight would be hard to foresee. Of course, Genocide Jack's physical abilities were only obvious to a few of the students in the first place. The two women exchanged hostile stares as the other students gulped nervously and watched. Except for one person. Kyoko was watching something else. She was watching Monokuma, who was in the corner of the gym, unmoving, as white noise emitted from his speakers. He had stopped moving the moment everyone's attention focused on Sakura and Toko. It's possible that Madurai's hacking had been disrupted, but an infinite number of other possibilities were also swirling around in Kyoko's mind. She brushed back her hair with a gloved hand and continued to watch. Though she couldn't fully remember her talent, the actions she was taking right now were fueled by pure instinct. You could almost say it was Ultra Instinct. The strange situations that kept occurring in front of her were shaking her to her very core. Her mind worked diligently to scoop up countless amounts of information from her vast sea of memories. As they were synchronizing with the synapses, that's the word, firing in her brain, Sakura and Toko kicked off the ground at the same time, and an impact rang throughout the gym. What is with the amount of Dragon Ball Z fights in this? Japanese text. Thanks to the heated battle that was unfolding in the gymnasium, Mukuro Ukusaba was able to buy more time than she had imagined. As soon as she entered the nurse's office, she rummaged around for medical supplies and did what she could to stop the bleeding. Though still quite shallow, Makoto's breathing stabilized. Mukuro let out a little sigh of relief. However, even though she was able to stop the bleeding, she wasn't out of the woods yet. Miraculously enough, it seemed like none of Makoto's major arteries or organs were damaged. Was this perhaps thanks to his ultimate luck? Or maybe he wasn't actually all that lucky. After all, the only sort of medical treatment he could hope for was partial at best. Mukuro couldn't decide. If only I could do a blood transfusion. The nurse's office should have had several blood packs for transfusions. Mukuro suspected that Makoto's blood type might be written in his e-handbook, but as she reached over to search his pockets... Haha. Wait, who's this? I See, I see you're reaching for a sleeping boy's clothes. What in the world is about to happen next? Adults can keep playing, but you kids better press the B button, okay? Get it? That means to stop evolving. I was right. Ugh. Mukuro turned toward that familiar voice and saw Monokuma standing before her. You're all alone with Mukuro right now. Just think of me as a cute wild animal and let your lust lead the way. As the headmaster, I must prevent any illicit sexual relations, but physical education classes are just fine, missy. Though he looked just like the one that was at the gym, it was clearly a different Monokuma. Multiple Monokumas had been placed throughout the entire academy, so it wasn't a stretch for him to suddenly appear out of nowhere. Regardless, the same person was controlling all of them. Mukuro had been wary of Monokuma attacking her while she was treating Makoto's wounds, but his appearance at this particular moment seemed to take her by surprise. Junko? Asked Mukuro cautiously. Monokuma tilted his head, along with his entire upper body, inquisitively. Junko? Who's that? Junko? I've never heard of that country before. No more jokes, answered me Junko. You were planning to kill me earlier, right? Junko this, Junko that. What's your problem? I'm telling you, I'm Monokuma, or Monokuma, if you want to be horribly wrong, just like the Japanese translation. You must be a big disappointment if you can't remember something like that. You're not just a disappointment as a person, you're a disappointment as a sister, too. You're too skinny and your brain is nothing but muscles and your personality is just unbearable. I'm sorry, said Mukuro. Why are you apologizing? She didn't need to apologize. But hearing her little sister call her disappointment yet again was enough to make the ultimate soldier recoil. Monokuma ignored her in her current situation, climbed on top of Makoto's barely breathing body, and began poking his cheeks. So what are you gonna do with Makoto now? I'm really interested in human mating habits, you know. What are you? Asked Mukuro before trailing off. Monokuma lowered his tone and began whispering into her ear. Makoto's a pretty nice guy, huh? He even sacrificed himself to save you. He's so generous that it's actually hopeless. He's not dead yet, insisted Mukuro. Despite her firm tone, she couldn't hide the fear lingering in her voice. That's the most disappointing thing about you. You can't even say, I won't let him die. I won't let him die, Junko. Mukuro could barely get a word in as Monokuma erupted into poo-hoo-hoo-hoos and ah-ha-ha-ha-has and continued to torment her. As if you could do that. Too bad, no regrets, see you tomorrow. Wah-ha-ha-ha-ha, that's another whole laugh. Is this because Makoto was the first person to smile at you? You, a disappointing, depressing, unladylike, inhuman killing machine. Despite denying that he was Junko, Monokuma began speaking at length about Mukuro's past. This contradiction was very much like Junko, and Mukuro was so shaken that all she could do is watch the bear prattle on and on. Only the fit survive in this world. The only thing that kind-hearted people can do is die, you know? As proof, you're gonna watch Makoto die really soon. He won't die. Mukuro's tone of voice had become irregular ever since she had taken off her Junko wig. Aside from her conversation with Makoto, everything she said as Junko was from a script that her sister had written. That's crazy! But now, there was no script for Mukuro to rely on anymore. Mukuro was treating Monokuma like she would treat her own sister. If the other students saw her acting so weak, they'd never believe she was the same person who fought Sakura in the gym. And not just that, if anyone from her mercenary past could see her now, her stark change in attitude might make some of them think she was someone else entirely. Monokuma continued to rail against Mukuro. Nope, he's gonna die. I know it's sad, but you just have to face the facts. Monokuma wriggled his limbs and danced around, then pointed right at Mukuro's face. Because Makoto is gonna die by your own hands. Huh? Infighting among the terrorists. The big bad terrorist silences the weak-willed Makoto before he can leak any information. Doesn't that happen all the time? In the end, all the desperate things you said in the gym turned out to be lies you told just to escape. Mukuro frowned at Monokuma. You can't do that, Junko. I won't let you do that. As she blurted out those words in a trembling voice, Mukuro was gripped with confusion about what she had just said. Am I defying Junko right now? Why? It was a strange feeling. To Mukuro, it was like she was standing on the edge of a tall building and imagining what would happen if she jumped. A destructive feeling, akin to holding a friend's baby and wondering what would happen if you tripped over and fell. That's a feeling that I've never felt before. Is that a feeling people feel? Is that a... Whew. Before she knew it, fear and anxiety... I mean, I get the metaphor, but whew, I've never felt that before. Now I'm imagining it. Woof. Before she knew it, fear and anxiety had suddenly taken control of Mukuro's heart. As a member of Fenrir, and as an ultimate despair, Mukuro had killed innumerable people. She had handled live grenades before. She had descended from the sky in a parachute as anti-aircraft weaponry fired all around her. Her heart never wavered on the battlefield, but now it felt like it could collapse at any second. Monokuma, however, was stable as a tree and slightly tilted his head to the side. Huh? Weren't you listening to my story? I'm not the one who's going to kill Makoto. You are. What are you saying, Junko? Monokuma began giving a strange explanation to the very confused Mukuro. Do you know what the suspension bridge effect really means? It means you push the person you love off a bridge, and they'll be yours for eternity. I haven't heard that at all. Me neither. Life doesn't always follow what your textbooks say. It's sad, but that's what love is. His words made no sense, and Mukuro couldn't think of anything to say as she stood there dumbfounded. Meanwhile, Monokuma continued his little speech, intentionally saying things meant to antagonize Mukuro. Basically, this is your big chance, you know? If you kill Makoto right here and now, nobody will ever take him away from you again. Makoto Naegi, dead by dawn. The last name he ever spoke was Mukuro Ikasaba. The last person he ever smiled at was Mukuro Ikasaba. Doesn't that sound wonderful? There was a certain appeal to Monokuma's twisted suggestion, and Mukuro found herself unsure of her own judgment. This is wrong. It has to be wrong. But it's really Junko saying all this, so doesn't that mean it's right? No, this isn't Junko, it's Monokuma. Monokuma. And are you sure you want to help Makoto? Once he gets better, he's gonna know everything. He'll know what you did to your classmates. I can't believe you would actually erase your friends' memories of their time together and force them to kill each other. Makoto might get mad and say, our real enemy isn't the bear, it's her. Do you really want him to blame you for this? Mukuro's face turned pale. Or are you gonna kill the others? If everyone except you and Makoto dies, yeah, that's gonna be a character. Monokoto will be a character later, mark my words. You'll be able to spend the rest of your school life together. We can't hold a class trial with only 2 people. It might be a good idea for you both to live the rest of your lives in this academy forever. No, that's wrong, What are you going to do if his memories return? It's not like you were dating Makoto or anything. You were just watching him from afar the whole time. Man, you're so shy. You can shoot people's hearts and brains no problem, but you can't even woo some stupid boy into liking you. Wait, was that like a thing that happened, or is this just Junko being Junko? Do you want to know who Makoto had a crush on before his memories were taken away? Mukuro trembled as Monokuma continued my speech isn't good today. This is what happens when I don't Let's Play in a long time. Pressing the issue, gradually loosening the screws, keeping her heart secure. So Mukuro chose to pretend she didn't hear anything at all. All emotion vanished from her face, and she looked silently for Makoto's handbook. If you're looking for his blood type, it's not written in the handbook. Mukuro's face turned pale. Within 5 seconds, her plan to ignore Monokuma had already failed. But since your headmaster is made up of 50% kindness, I'll tell you anyway. Makoto's blood type is B. As soon as she heard him say that, all the anxiety, horror, hostility, malice, and dread churning within Mukuro had completely vanished. Thank you, Junko. Wait, oh my god. Oh no, she's been duped. Mukuro's eyes sparkled without a hint of suspicion, so she turned her back to Monokuma without a hint of suspicion, and walked toward the refrigerator containing the blood packs. Fresh blood packs should have been prepared before the plan took effect. They'll last in the cold storage for 21 days, they should still be good. Despite her motionless face, Mukuro let herself feel a small amount of satisfaction as she took a blood pack from the refrigerator. As Monokuma watched this, his normally emotionless eyes twitched ever so slightly. If a third party could see his face right now, or even if the other students could see his face right now, they'd wonder, is Monokuma surprised? That's right, they'd have the same shocked look on their faces as if they were seeing Monokuma for the first time. At that moment, a whisper crept out of Monokuma's emotionless face. There should be a limit to how disappointing you can be. It was far quieter than a mosquito's wings. See, it was as quiet as a spider spitting on silk. That's a good one. Even with her battle-hardened hearing, Mukuro couldn't have heard what he said. Monokuma shook his head and the voice returned to normal. It's not like I cared that you, the ultimate despair, has hope in anything. It's not like I expected much from you to begin with, so this at least helped me feel despair. Huh? But seriously, you disappoint me. Just so you know, despair and disappointment are two completely different things, okay? They're as different as bears and pandas. What are you... Mukuro's body started to shake as she turned back to look at Monokuma. He hadn't started talking to him differently than usual. Junko hadn't turned off the voice modulator and started talking in a real voice or anything. And yet, Mukuro was utterly terrified. She was terrified on instinct, not as a soldier. Half the reason she was terrified was because of her instincts as the ultimate despair. And the other half was because she was Junko's older sister. Even through Monokuma, her instincts were telling her that Junko was annoyed with her. Junko? Why are you annoyed? Is it because I betrayed you? Or is it because I didn't die like you wanted me to? Sucked Monokuma. I'm beyond annoyed. I'm really, really angry. And I'm really, really disappointed right now. I'm so pissed I could take a rage nap right now. Monokuma's anger didn't seem any different from his usual anger toward the students, but Mukuro could instinctively sense another emotion mixed with it. Right now, she could feel that Junko was feeling hopeless disappointment. It's normal for someone who's disappointed to lose hope, but for ultimate despair, disappointment means something else entirely. To them, disappointment was tantamount to losing despair itself. Mukuro was a member of Ultimate Despair. At her sister's behest, Mukuro had soiled her hands many times in order to fill the world with despair. Despite her pride toward being a member of Ultimate Despair, there was a clear difference between Mukuro and her sister. Junko Enoshima was despair incarnate. She was born in despair, letting it infect other people's hopes so it could rot them away from the inside out, twisting them into her own image. For Junko, feeling hope was its own despair. What the heck? Creating despair in others created despair in herself, which caused her both to feel intense pain and intense bliss. Junko had walked the fracture created from the conflict between pleasure and penance all her life. Eventually the fracture would widen until it swallowed the whole world and tore it in half. But Mukuro, on the other hand, had neither hope nor despair for the world. At least, not when she was a member of Fenrir. Ever since she was a child, Mukuro believed she was meant to spread despair because of her sister. She didn't harbor any ill will toward the world. She simply accepted she was meant to spread despair, and chose to walk the same path as her sister. The doubt she felt was only a recent development, when Junko told her about the plan. When she watched the world burn at the hands of terrorists wearing Monokuma masks, she never wavered once. However, as soon as she heard about her sister's plan to make their classmates kill each other, Makoto included, a strange feeling began to stir within her. Okay, so does she have feelings for Makoto? That's interesting if it's true. What started as a seed of doubt soon grew into a thorny vine ensnaring Mukuro's feet. As soon as she disguised herself as Junko and finished meeting the other students, as soon as she had confirmed that everyone's memories had been completely taken away, that vine began tightening around Mukuro's heart. They're gone. Junko's the only one who knows about me now. That's it. But that's no problem. It's just like old times. Things will never go back to how they used to be, but that's fine. This should be fine. She had relinquished the past 2 years she had spent with her friends so she could betray them and deliver death and despair unto them. Though her heart ached, Mukuro was beyond feeling guilt or remorse for her actions. But the question, why does my heart ache like this, still remained unanswered. Perhaps that's why she spent so much time talking to Makoto when she was in the nurse's office. And when Makoto gave her that one particular answer, something changed inside her. In return, I'll promise that if I do decide to kill someone, it won't be you. The words Mukuro blurted out to Makoto weren't improvised to further her role as Junko. It was an honest sentiment from the bottom of her heart. She was even planning to ask Junko herself if Makoto could somehow be spared from her plan. Over the past 2 years, Mukuro's interests had been slowly shifting away from her sister and toward the world itself. By extension, her interests also included Makoto, the first person to ever smile at her and make her feel connected to the world. He was like a sapling of pure honesty that had taken root in Mukuro's heart. By the time she had realized that, the tree had already rotted. As Mukuro struggled to understand the situation, Monokuma let out a sigh and said, "I wonder which part of you is a wolf anyway. You're just a dog that blindly follows Junko's orders. What does the tattoo on your hand even mean? Are you just a... Whoa, hey, I mean, technically that fits with the dog metaphor. Are you just a bitch who's pledged her loyalty to her owner? I bet Toko would say that. I'm positive." Monokuma continued to talk as Mukuro stood in confusion. "I was obviously lying when I said Makoto's blood type is B." "Thought so." "What?" Mukuro cried. "You lied, Junko." "A normal person would have been suspicious. I never thought you'd actually believe me just now. I must have misplaced my eyes because I totally did not see that coming. Not even with my ability to predict the future. How shocking. Geez, I'm about to start crying my eyes out like some sort of robot cat. Seriously, that's a Doraemon reference. Thank you for the people who told me a long time ago what it meant." "It's going to be okay, Junko," said Mukuro. "I know our plan kind of fell apart, but I'm still on your side. Are you feeling all right? Because I'll do anything." Snap! A harsh sound came from Monokuma's mouth. "That sound was one of my circuits overloading. It's been so long since I felt this angry. Meet me on the roof of the school. I'll smash out all your baby teeth." Monokuma started shadowboxing in front of Mukuro, remained frozen in place, clutching a blood pack in her hand. She still looked confused, and Monokuma threw up his arms in frustration. "You're so disappointing I can't even predict it anymore. Arr!" A threatening roar, yeah, that was threatening, alright, burst from Monokuma's mouth as he leapt at Mukuro with his sharp claws extended. Ugh. At that moment, her face became completely emotionless. It was not a conscious act. The defensive instinct she honed during her time with Fenrir temporarily suppressed her emotions as she countered Monokuma's attack. Mukuro grabbed a nearby IV stand and used it to parry Monokuma's claws. Alright, Valentine from Skullgirls. However, Monokuma's claws seemed to be made with a special alloy, that's a fun word, and sliced the bar in half diagonally. But instead of following up his attack, Makoto continued talking to Mukuro. "I guess you're not much of a disappointment when it comes to fighting. In fact, if you're so pathetic that you died from that single attack, that would have been interesting in its own way. But right now, you're just incompetent at everything." "I'm sorry," said Mukuro. "I couldn't help blocking your attack. But there's no way I can fight you, Junko. After all, I'm all you have. I'm the only one who understands you at all." Mukuro's words were riddled with endless dismay. The contrast between her usual stoic self and the way she was acting now was so stark, people might assume she had multiple personalities. However, Monokuma just quietly stared at her. He was perfectly still, as if all his functions had been powered down completely. But Mukuro continued to share her feelings. "There's no way I can just leave you alone." And then Monokuma broke his silence, but at that moment, a monitor in the nurse's office lit up, displaying a girl's face, Junko Enoshima. At the same time, A voice, completely unlike Monokuma's, began to play from the speakers. "Hey, Mukuro." Junko." It had been several days since Mukuro had heard her sister's real voice. Though her face remained emotionless, excitement sparkled in her eyes. However, that shine immediately dulled. "I'm grateful to you, Mukuro. I mean it. See, like, the fake Valley Girl accent doesn't really fit the situation right now. At all." Maybe I'll do it, though, because then it'll be a bit of dissonance. Junko's voice emanating from the speaker sounded very gentle and kind. "Junko, I'm really sorry. I said so many mean things to you. I even tried to kill you earlier, and I was just about to make you do something horrible just now. Even though I know about your feelings toward Makoto, you don't have to force yourself. Even if you didn't notice, it was totally obvious to anyone looking at you. You never cared about the class photos, but when Makoto said he was going to take one, you made sure you're facing the camera. And then Junko Enoshima, the ultimate despair, flashed a smile. A pure, sweet smile. On the monitor, she looked like a normal high school girl teasing her older sister. And yet, Mukuro could feel despair and anxiety encasing themselves around her. I always thought you should have tried hard to take pictures with Makoto. But I guess that's what makes you so disappointing. Still, even though you're disappointing and annoying, I still love you." Mukuro trembled upon hearing those words. "I love you." That's all she ever wanted to hear his sister say. Mukuro believed. No matter what Junko said, she believed she really loved her. She believed she was the only one who could truly understand the despair known as Junko Enoshima. She was naive. As soon as she heard Junko say "I love you," Mukuro realized she had never completely understood her sister. It was only at this time that Mukuro finally understood her sister's feelings. Junko's words right now were kind. Perhaps that kindness was completely honest. The words "I love you" might have been true as well. However, for Junko Enoshima, this was her way of saying goodbye. She was severing the ties between them. It was painfully clear to Mukuro. And then, before she could even say anything, the girl in the monitor made a remark that cut Mukuro to the bone. "I'm sure someday you'll make your dreams come true." Ultimate despairs never talked to each other like this. A simple truth stabbed into Mukuro's heart. Junko had no further use for her. Her own sister was parting ways with her. Mukuro dedicated over 10 years of her life to the cause of ultimate despair, and at this moment, it all counted for nothing. But those years no longer mattered to Mukuro. Her sister's rejection was more than enough to send her into the depths of despair. That's why Mukuro, even now, clung to a small sliver of hope. Meanwhile, Junko was still on the monitor. "Yeah, right. Did you really think I'd say something that nice? You're so annoying. Can't you just hurry up and disappear already?" Mukuro hoped Junko would say something like that. She hoped that she would start verbally abusing her again, call her useless and incompetent. Mukuro was no masochist, but she preferred to be showered with bullets and contempt than endure this kind of emotional pain. But I love you, Mukuro. Bye-bye. And on that note, guys, that's where we're going to end it. Again, on a cliffhanger. I apologize. Thank you all for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time for some more Danganronpa if. Ciao. You can